Hi everyone, this is Dr. Vinay Saranga, owner of Saranga Comprehensive Psychiatry in Apex, North Carolina. Hope all of you are doing well. I know all of us are getting adjusted to. Many of us are working from home now, and kids are from school or home from school. So it's this pandemic unfortunately has just changed our routines and our daily lives in major ways. Just wanted to give you some brief thoughts this evening about, how to kind of talk to your kids about some of the things that have been going on with the pandemic. I mean, first, just do your best to have an open, honest conversation with your kids about it. Depending on your kid's age, they may have a lot of questions, and do your best as a parent to answer the questions honestly, and try not to make up anything, because then they start to lose trust in you. Another piece is, try your best to make a routine or schedule for the kids at home. The kids need structure, and that will really help decrease some of their anxiety if they have some plan for the day. Give them some choices. Maybe help, they can have some choices for meals. That could be helpful as well. Help them keep in touch with their friends through different virtual outlets like FaceTime, Skype, but make sure to monitor what they're doing on those media apps. But that can be a good way for them to connect with their friends. And try to make sure they're getting the most accurate information. Typically, the CDC or World Health Organization provides really good, up-to-date and accurate information. And give them something new to learn about. That could be helpful to them as well. Maybe they could start a new hobby. Maybe they could start reading a book. They could do some in-home exercise routines. That's what we've been doing in my family. Doing some in-home exercises. There's so many apps available now for that that could be helpful to you to do as a family at home, maybe in your basement if you have one. And that can be helpful. Maybe they could read a book. And try to limit their exposure to kind of frightening news, because some of that can be scary, and seeing the numbers of deaths and things like that can worsen anxiety for kids. And as I mentioned before, try to make sure they're physically active. If they're able to go outside, walk the dog, or go on a walk on a trail, as long as you're maintaining social distance, that can be good for them to get some fresh air. And give them some downtime as well. Kids need downtime as adults do. So give them some space if they need it. These are some brief tips that I've been using in my home with my family as well, and I think it's been helpful for my kids to have kind of a structured day, and have a plan for the day. Have an outlet for them to reach out and speak to their friends, because they're not able to meet with their friends face to face. So I hope this was helpful to you today, and please feel free to reach out or look for any future videos. I want to be helpful and educational to you. All right, take care. Bye.